Well, good afternoon or good morning or good evening, wherever you happen to be joining us from. I am delighted that you are here. My name is Tara Healy, and I want to welcome you to the Mind the Moment community and Mind the Moment in everyday life. And if you have joined us on previous Tuesdays, you'll know that every month we have a theme. So we tie a theme to the topic of mindfulness. And the theme for this month is what nature teaches us about mindfulness. And I had the good fortune to attend as a participant the first two sessions that our wonderful guest, Colleen Camenisch, offered, and really talking about how the four elements of earth, air, water, fire are really connected in with our own natures and using guided practices to see that more clearly. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Colleen now to talk a little bit about where we've been and also where we are going with today's session. I'm so happy to be hosting today and to join you. And so I'm going to turn it over to you to guide us in practice and talk a little bit about where we've been.
Thank you so much, Tara. It's so great to be with you today, and it's been so fun to be a part of this series. And some of you might be coming for the first time today, and today we'll be focusing on the air element, but some of you might have been here for the other sessions too. And we've been exploring, as Tara said, all of these different elements that are found in nature. And hopefully, these practices, at least for me, what I love about them is sometimes, and I think I said this in the very first session, I forget that I'm a part of nature. It seems like I'm just in charge of, curating it. And I think that when we can remember all of the parts of ourselves that are connected to nature, it can really help us develop a solid base for our practice. Um, and I think it can help us kind of recognize things more clearly that sometimes might be a little bit under the radar, like impermanence. We can see it as the seasons change or interconnectedness. And we'll talk about that just as we explore the breath today, and interdependence and realizing all of the ways in which we're not separate. I think sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel the more technologically advanced we get, even though there's so much we can do with that, it does tend to create a sense of separation. And just by tuning into nature, we can remember how connected we are to everything and that we are a part of everything. Um, so hopefully we will be able to explore that a little bit through this practice today, and then we'll have some time to talk about it a little bit more at the end. Well, then I would invite everyone out there to find a comfortable posture, a comfortable way to sit or stand or lie down, whatever feels like the most appropriate posture for you and your body. And if you'd like to, you can peer out a window, or you might soften the gaze, or even closing the eyes. And maybe just as we start this practice together, I think it's always nice to just allow yourself some moments to make a transition from anything that you've been doing before you got here today to really being here. And maybe just starting with kind of a broad check-in, noticing what's happening in the body, maybe noticing the energetic level. Maybe there's a lot of energy, maybe not much energy, maybe somewhere in between. Maybe noticing how the mind is just as you're arriving. Just getting a sense of the mind and the body in their entirety. And nothing that we need to change. We're really just bringing attention to how things are. And while we'll be exploring the earth element, or excuse me, the air element today, just want to remind everybody about the different anchors of attention in case the air element doesn't feel right for you. Some of the anchors of attention we've been exploring are just the sense of the feet in contact with the ground beneath you, so that you can tune into that quality of earth, of stability and solidity, or you could just be aware of the sense of the body resting on the surface that's supporting it, or maybe even the hands wherever they're resting. So you have choices, even though we're exploring, or at least I'll be highlighting aspects of the air element. And so if you'd like to, again, you can stay with any one of those anchor points, or you could start to bring attention to just the fact that you're breathing. And there might be some places where you're able to notice the breath happening more predominantly. Sometimes it might be right at the tip of the nose as the breath enters and leaves the body. For other people, it might be just the felt sense of the breath moving past the back of the throat. For some people, it might be with the rising and the falling of the rib cage or the belly. And for this practice, I would really encourage that we keep it very simple. We're not trying to change or manipulate the breath at all. We're really just breathing, knowing that we're breathing, experiencing the breath as it's happening. And as we're breathing, we might have a sense of the air that's all around us, that's surrounding us. Quality of the air is so spacious that way, extending out far beyond our body that's just breathing in and breathing out, but really filling up the entire planet. So we might be able to attune to some of the spacious quality of the air. And just as we attend to our breath, it can give us so much information about how we are in a particular moment. The breath is coming more predominantly from the rib cage, and it might be more tight or constricted. Maybe there's some stress or tension in the body. And again, nothing we have to do to try to make that different, but just to get a sense, just through the experience of the breath, of the air element, what's happening in our own bodies. Or maybe the breath is quite full and deep and coming from the belly. So just by simply breathing, we really can get a sense of how things are in the body. And while it might seem simple to just be attending to the breath, it's not necessarily easy. As we know, the mind can wander off and go other places. And that's okay. That's the nature of the mind. It's the nature of the mind to generate thoughts. And one of the translations from the original language of meditation is this quality of remembering. And so each time we know that we're gone, the moment you know you're gone, you're back. It's a kind of remembering to be in the present moment. And then we can just kind of gently but firmly bring the attention back to the sensations of breathing. Sometimes I like to think about the analogy of how anchors work on boats. If we think of the breath kind of like an anchor of attention, the anchor is there to keep the boat from drifting off too far. But anchors are not overly tight or rigid because the nature of a boat is to be on the water, and water naturally has a quality of movement, as we explored last week. And so, just as we're attending to the breath as an anchor of attention, knowing that as the mind drifts off, we don't have to be overly tight or rigid, trying to hold our attention somewhere. The mind naturally has the quality of movement, and we can just gently, firmly bring the attention back as many times as we need to. I like to think of these practices as the practice of 1,000 beginnings, or maybe in some practices, it might be 10,000 beginnings. And as we attune to the breath, we might recognize the very precious quality of every breath we take. With every inhalation, truly breathing in life as we breathe in oxygen from the plants. With every exhalation, breathing out carbon dioxide and supporting life around us. So, just by simply being, we are in the process of giving and receiving, supporting and being supported. It's maybe the most important thing we could be doing. Just simply being. And air also has this quality of movement. It's not so different from water in some ways. We kind of look at it scientifically as this expansive quality. It's in motion. And in some way, it's kind of like a thread that connects us together across the globe, that the air we breathe in maybe was breathed in by someone very far away in a distant part of the world. But we're all in this process of breathing this air that's so expansive, that exists without any sense of boundary, that's readily available to nourish all of us. So many points of connection with every breath we take. And also, air doesn't often have much resistance unless it comes in a particularly strong form, like in a specific weather pattern, like a tornado or a hurricane, maybe, or a strong wind. In general, it has quite a fluid quality, so that anything can sort of arise within it. We haven't gotten to talk much about the fire element since we had just 3 weeks to go through the different elements, but the quality of the sun, we look at an energetic force, is similar in this way, similar to the quality of air that's so spacious, it doesn't have much resistance, that's available. The sun kind of radiates out on everything without any exceptions, without expecting anything in return, simply providing a quality of energy that supports life throughout the planet. Without this element, and we're really in the Goldilocks zone where we're just the right amount away from the sun, that we don't get too much energy, but that we have enough for life to flourish. So maybe there's this possibility that as we breathe, we can touch into that expansive experience, that quality of radiating out our energy and our care and our kindness. And again, just by simply breathing, we're really radiating out life and the possibility for life. So maybe just in these last couple of moments, tuning to an anchor of attention. It might be the breath or the feet or the seat or the hands. Maybe really intentionally noticing the last couple of breaths that we'll take in this formal way, in this formal practice. And then we'll begin to transition, perhaps beginning to move the body a bit, in any ways that feel supportive or beginning to open the eyes if they've been closed. We'll reconnect with each other here as a group.
You, Colleen. That was wonderful. There were so many things about it, but one of the things I loved is that just by being, not doing anything, there is a kind of reciprocity going on, right? Like where we are receiving, but we are also giving life through our exhalation. Yeah, that just kind of struck me just without doing anything other than just inhaling and exhaling. There is this natural reciprocity. And yeah, beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, I love that reminder too, because I feel like we can all be so oriented towards doing. And it's just so helpful to remember that we're doing something important when we're just simply being as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't been conditioned or cultured that way at all. I know yeah, it's really, really interesting. And also, like, I kind of thought like a fish that swims in water has no idea, like, necessarily that the water is what is sustaining their life. And I
Mm.
think in some ways, that's true for us. We take for granted that we have oxygen available to us, unless you have a type of disease that limits that.
I mean, I love that so much because I think one of the really powerful things about practice is, well, just kind of like you were saying about breathing. It's like the most important thing we could be doing. We like actually couldn't be alive if we weren't doing it. And yet it's can be, like you said, if we don't have anything that's creating health issues
Yeah,
for us, or we're not like a breathing in terrible air or something, it's like something we can forget because we how it's all so, I mean, I think this is like really what I was hoping to point to in these sessions too,
yeah,
like how connected we are to everything and
absolutely.
how it's a part of us. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's, yeah, I mean, I think it's so awe-inspiring, but it's also so simple and around us all the time that we don't stop and I mean, sometimes of course we do and just take in the awness, the
Mhm.
awesomeness of it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. And Colleen, I just am so fortunate that I got to sit in for John today and host this final session with you on the elements and just our connection to nature. It's been really powerful for me. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been so special to get to be with both you and John. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for the opportunity and to be with all of you out there as well.